Just moments after taking off from St. Louis Airport in Missouri, American Airlines DC-98 plane faced a sudden emergency. The engine caught fire, triggering numerous warnings in the cockpit. Before the pilots could fully comprehend the situation, the plane began to lose control, and the cockpit's instrument panels started to fail one by one. The aircraft rapidly descended, putting the lives of 143 passengers at risk. Could the pilot safely land the plane, or would this flight mark the final journey for everyone on board? Our case study today delves into the harrowing incident involving American Airlines Flight 1400. On the afternoon of September 28, 2007, 138 passengers and a 5-member crew boarded American Airlines Flight HD-2 at St. Louis Airport, bound for Chicago on a 1-hour journey. The weather was calm, with light clouds and a temperature of 30 degrees Celsius, an ideal day for flying. As the passengers boarded, none could foresee how this seemingly ordinary flight would soon turn into a life-threatening ordeal. Both the flight crew and the passengers were oblivious to the fact that a combination of technical issues and human error would soon pose an immense threat. The 59-year-old captain had been with American Airlines for 17 years, with the last 4 as a first officer on a Boeing 777, and he had recently transitioned to captaining the DC-98 6 months before his planned retirement. With 14,000 hours of flying experience, including 6,000 hours as captain, he was a seasoned pilot. The 43-year-old first officer, who joined American Airlines in 1999, had 7,000 flight hours, with 2,000 on the DC-92 model, making him equally experienced. Problems for Flight 1400 started before takeoff when, despite several attempts, the left engine wouldn't start. The captain requested ground crew assistance to start it manually. Typically, a special wrench tool is used to open the engine start valve, allowing the ground crew to manually press the start button. However, to save time, they bypassed some steps, using a screwdriver to press the button. After several tries, the engine started, but this shortcut would soon lead to a major crisis. At approximately 1:05 p.m., with all 143 on board, the captain initiated the roll-off process. Both pilots were casually conversing while going through the pre-takeoff checklist, setting up the aircraft's instruments as they taxied toward the runway. The crucial moments before takeoff require pilots to meticulously follow safety protocols and avoid personal conversations to ensure they remain focused. According to regulations, pilots are prohibited from personal conversations in the cockpit until the plane has reached a safe altitude of 10,000 feet, as this period demands full attention on the plane's settings. In a relaxed conversation, the plane finally reached the runway at 1:10 p.m. The captain initiated takeoff at full thrust, and as the plane accelerated, the start valve on the left engine opened due to air pressure. The increasing thrust caused intense pressure on the engine's starting turbine, which eventually led to a fire. Upon detecting the fire, the first officer immediately contacted the ATC tower, requesting permission to make an emergency return to St. Louis Airport. The captain took control, instructing the first officer to follow the fire checklist. During training, pilots undergo fire simulation exercises, but real-life crises often induce panic, causing even seasoned pilots to forget certain steps. Following the engine fire manual, the first officer managed to complete the initial steps but failed to shut down the fuel supply and engage the fire extinguisher due to the distraction of informing the cabin crew. This misstep was a costly delay in an already dire situation. The pilot of the plane was able to successfully land the plane, saving the lives of all passengers and crew members. This small mistake could have turned out to be a big heartbreaking incident, but the captain's great skill managed to land the plane on the runway.